Rumi was born in 1207 in the city of Balkh, now in Afghanistan. His real name was Jalal ad-Din Muhammad. His father was a famous scholar and teacher. His family was well respected. They lived in a time of political troubles. Rumi's father decided to move the family. They traveled a lot. They went to many places like Nishapur, Baghdad, and Mecca. Rumi learned from his father. He also met many of Rumi's father's students. One of them was the poet Atta. Atta saw great potential in Rumi. He gave Rumi a book about the heroes of Islam. This book made a big impression on Rumi. When Rumi was a young boy, his family settled in Konya. Konya is now in Turkey. This place was safer than their home. Rumi's father became the head of a learning community. Rumi grew up in this environment. He learned about poetry, religion, and science. His father was his main teacher. After his father died, Rumi took his place. He was only 24 years old. He became a popular teacher. People from far away came to learn from him. Rumi was known for his knowledge and kindness. He married and had a family. His life was going well. But everything changed when he met a wandering dervish. This man's name was Shams Tabrizi. Shams was mysterious and wise. He had different ideas about life and God. Rumi and Shams became close friends. Shams taught Rumi to see the world in a new way. This meeting started a big change in Rumi's life. He started writing poems. His poems were about love, God, and the beauty of life. People loved Rumi's poems. They were different from other poems. They were full of emotion and wisdom. Rumi's early life shaped his future. His father's teachings were important. The places he visited influenced him. His meeting with Shams was the start of his journey as a poet. Rumi's poems are still loved today. They teach us about love, life, and the search for meaning. His story starts in Balkh, but it touches the whole world. Rumi's early life was the beginning of a journey that made him one of the greatest poets in history. Rumi's early education was rich and diverse. His father, a scholar, guided his learning. He studied the Quran and Islamic teachings. He also learned about history, philosophy, and science. Rumi was very smart. He loved learning new things. His father's students also taught him. They were knowledgeable in many subjects. Rumi was curious about everything. He asked many questions. His teachers were impressed by his intelligence. They predicted he would become a great scholar. Rumi's family moved often. This exposed him to different cultures and ideas. In each city, Rumi learned something new. He met scholars, poets, and mystics. These people influenced his thinking. Rumi was not just learning from books. He was learning from life. His father's influence was strong. He taught Rumi about spirituality. He encouraged Rumi to think deeply about life and God. Rumi's father was not just a teacher. He was a spiritual guide. Rumi respected and loved him. He wanted to be like him. Rumi's early life was not just about study. He faced challenges too. The political unrest in their region was difficult. The family had to leave their home. This made Rumi understand the pain of loss. It also taught him about the strength of the human spirit. Rumi's poetry later reflected these experiences. He wrote about love, loss, and the search for truth. Rumi's education was not just in the classroom. His life experiences were also his teachers. These experiences made his poetry rich and deep. They helped him connect with people's hearts. Rumi's early education set the foundation for his future. He became a great poet and thinker. His work inspires people even today. Rumi's journey started with his early education. It was a journey of learning, love, and spiritual growth. Rumi's journey to becoming a poet was unique. He was already a respected teacher and scholar. But his life changed after meeting Shams Tabrizi. Shams was a wandering mystic. He had different ideas about life and love. Rumi and Shams became close friends. Shams challenged Rumi's beliefs. He made Rumi think in new ways. This friendship deeply affected Rumi. After Shams disappeared, Rumi was heartbroken. He started expressing his feelings through poetry. His poems were not like traditional ones. They were full of emotion and deep thoughts. Rumi's poetry talked about love, loss, and the search for truth. He used simple words, but his ideas were deep. People were amazed by his poems. They found them powerful and moving. Rumi's work started to spread. People from different places came to hear him. His followers wrote down his words. This is how his poems were collected. Rumi's style was different from other poets. He used stories and metaphors. His poems made people think and feel deeply. He often wrote about the beauty of nature. He saw nature as a reflection of God's beauty. Rumi's poems also talked about the human soul. He believed that love was the path to understanding God. His work was not just poetry. It was a spiritual message. Rumi's poetry became very popular. His words touched the hearts of many people. His work was not just loved by scholars. Ordinary people loved it too. Rumi's poetry was special because it was universal. It spoke to people of all backgrounds. His work crossed cultural and religious boundaries. Rumi's beginning as a poet was unexpected. He did not plan to become a poet. It was his life experiences that led him to poetry. His meeting with Shams was the turning point. It opened a new world for him. Rumi's poetry is a treasure. It teaches us about the beauty of life and love. His journey to becoming a poet shows us how life can take unexpected turns. Rumi's work is still loved today. It continues to inspire and move people around the world. Rumi's journey to becoming an iconic poet was a journey of the heart. Rumi's writing style evolved over time. In the beginning, his poems were like his teachings. They were serious and scholarly. But after meeting Shams, his style changed. It became more emotional and passionate. Rumi started using simple language. But his ideas were deep. He wrote about love, joy, sorrow, and the mysteries of life. Rumi's poems were different from others. They were easy to understand but made people think. Rumi's style was unique. He used stories and images in his poems. These stories were not just tales. They had hidden meanings. They made people reflect on their lives and beliefs. Rumi's poems were not just words. They were like music. They had rhythm and flow. Reading his poems was like listening to a song. This style made his work very popular. Rumi wrote a lot about love. But his love was not just for a person. It was love for life, for humanity, and for the divine. He believed love was the most powerful force. His poems about love are some of his most famous works. Rumi also wrote about the soul's journey. He believed every person was on a journey. This journey was about finding truth and connecting with the divine. His poems encouraged people to think about their own journey. Rumi's writing style also showed his humor. He used humor to make serious points. This made his work more enjoyable. People liked this mix of deep thought and humor. Rumi's style kept evolving. He never stopped experimenting. He always found new ways to express his ideas. This kept his work fresh and interesting. Rumi's poetry was not just for his time. It is timeless. People from different times and places find his work relevant. His style crosses cultural and language barriers. Rumi's evolution as a writer shows his genius. He was not afraid to change. He was always growing and learning. This is why his work is still loved today. Rumi's evolution as a poet is a story of creativity and growth. His journey inspires us to keep exploring and expressing ourselves. His work reminds us of the power of words and the beauty of the human spirit. Rumi's life changed when he met Shams Tabrizi. This meeting was very important. It started a new chapter in Rumi's life. Shams was a wandering dervish. He was wise and had seen much of the world. Rumi met Shams in Konya. This meeting was unexpected. Shams was looking for someone. He wanted to teach what he knew. Shams heard about Rumi. He knew Rumi was a great scholar. But Shams saw something more in Rumi. He saw a deep soul. Rumi was surprised by Shams. Shams was not like other teachers. He had a different way of seeing the world. Shams asked Rumi hard questions. He made Rumi think in new ways. Rumi was impressed by Shams. He felt a strong connection. They became close friends. Shams stayed with Rumi in Konya. They spent much time together. They talked about life, love, and God. Shams taught Rumi about Sufism. Sufism is a spiritual way of understanding Islam. It focuses on love and the search for truth. Shams' teachings were deep. They were about finding God in the heart. Rumi was deeply affected by Shams. He started seeing the world differently. Rumi's family and students were surprised. They saw a change in Rumi. He was no longer just a scholar. He was becoming a mystic. Shams' influence on Rumi was strong. But not everyone liked this. Some of Rumi's students were jealous. They did not understand Shams' teachings. They thought Shams was changing Rumi too much. The relationship between Rumi and Shams was special. They shared a deep spiritual bond. Rumi learned a lot from Shams. He learned about the power of love. He learned that God is in everyone. This changed Rumi's teachings and his poetry. Rumi started writing more about love and the soul. His poems became more emotional. People noticed this change. They were touched by Rumi's new words. But then something sad happened. Shams disappeared. Rumi was heartbroken. He missed Shams deeply. This sadness was hard. But it also inspired Rumi. He wrote many poems about this loss. His poems were about the pain of separation. They were also about the hope of reunion. Rumi's meeting with Shams was a turning point. It started his spiritual quest. This quest was about finding truth and love. It made Rumi not just a poet but a spiritual teacher. Rumi's story with Shams is a story of friendship and transformation. It shows how meeting someone can change our lives. It reminds us of the power of spiritual connections. Rumi's journey with Shams is a journey of the heart. It is a journey that continues to inspire people around the world. The meeting with Shams Tabrizi had a big impact on Rumi. It changed his life and work. Before meeting Shams, Rumi was a respected teacher. He focused on religious studies. But Shams opened a new world for him. Shams taught Rumi about love and spirituality. This changed Rumi's way of thinking. Rumi started to explore deeper ideas. He thought about the meaning of life and love. This was a big change. Rumi's work started to show this change. His poems became more emotional. They talked about love, not just as a feeling but as a spiritual journey. Rumi's poems also became more personal. He wrote about his own feelings and experiences. This made his work more powerful. People could feel Rumi's emotions in his words. Rumi's teaching also changed. He started teaching more about spirituality. He talked about the importance of love in finding God. He said love was the key to understanding life. This was a new idea for many people. Rumi's followers were surprised. They saw a new side of Rumi. He was not just a scholar. He was a spiritual guide. Rumi's work started to spread. People from different places came to hear him. His poems were written down and shared. Rumi became famous not just as a teacher but as a poet. His work touched the hearts of many people. Rumi's meeting with Shams also had a personal impact. Rumi felt a deep loss when Shams left. This sadness was hard. But it also inspired him. He wrote many beautiful poems about this feeling. These poems were about the pain of separation. But they were also about hope. Rumi believed in the power of love. He believed love could overcome any distance. This belief was a big part of his work. Rumi's meeting with Shams was a turning point. It was the start of his spiritual quest. This quest was not easy. It had challenges and sadness. But it also had beauty and love. Rumi's journey shows us the power of spiritual connections. It shows how meeting someone can change our lives. It also shows the power of expressing our feelings. Rumi's work is a treasure. It teaches us about love, life, and the search for truth. His journey with Shams is a story that continues to inspire people around the world. Rumi's life and work remind us of the beauty and mystery of the human spirit. Rumi's poems are full of love. He wrote about love in many ways. His idea of love was not just about people. It was also about the world and the divine. Rumi believed love was the most powerful force. He thought love could change the world. Rumi's love was deep and spiritual. He saw love in everything. He wrote about the beauty of nature. He saw nature as a sign of God's love. He also wrote about human love. He thought people could show God's love through kindness and compassion. Rumi's poems talked about the soul's journey. He believed love was part of this journey. He thought love could help people find truth and happiness. Rumi's love was not just happy. He also wrote about the pain of love. He knew love could be difficult. He wrote about the sadness of losing someone. But he also wrote about the hope of finding love again. Rumi's love was universal. He did not just write for one group. His poems spoke to everyone. They crossed cultural and religious boundaries. People from all over the world loved his work. Rumi's love was also about unity. He believed all people were connected. He thought love could bring people together. He wrote about breaking down barriers. He wanted people to see each other as one. Rumi's message of love is still important. His poems teach us about the power of love. They remind us to be kind and to see the beauty in the world. They also teach us about the strength of the human heart. Rumi's exploration of love is a journey. It is a journey of the heart and the soul. His poems take us on this journey. They show us the many sides of love. They also show us the power of words to express deep feelings. Rumi's message of love is a message of hope. It is a message that continues to inspire people around the world. His work reminds us that love is the key to understanding life and each other. Rumi's themes of love are timeless. They are a treasure that teaches us about the beauty and mystery of life. Rumi believed in unity and humanity. He thought all people were connected. He said we are all part of the same world. Rumi's poems often talked about this idea. He used beautiful images to explain it. He said we are like different notes in one music. We are like different colors in one painting. This was a powerful idea. Rumi thought our differences made us special. But he also believed in what we share. He said we all have the same human heart. We all feel love, joy, and sadness. This makes us understand each other. Rumi's message of unity was about respect and kindness. He thought we should treat everyone well. He said we should help each other. He believed this would make the world better. Rumi also talked about breaking down barriers. He said we create walls between us. These walls are about race, religion, and culture. Rumi thought these walls were not helpful. He wanted people to see beyond them. He thought we should focus on what brings us together. Rumi's message was not just words. It was a call to action. He wanted people to live his message. He thought we should work for peace and understanding. He believed this was the way to a better world. Rumi's message of unity is still important. His poems inspire people to come together. They remind us of our shared humanity. They encourage us to be kind and understanding. Rumi's message is a message of hope. It shows us the power of love and unity. His work reminds us that we can make a difference. We can make the world a place of peace and harmony. Rumi's views on unity and humanity are a treasure. They teach us about the beauty of coming together. They remind us of the power of our shared human spirit. Rumi wrote many great works. One of his most famous is the Masnavi. The Masnavi is a long poem. It is sometimes called the spiritual Quran. It is very important in Sufi Islam. The Masnavi has 6 books. It is a big collection of poems. These poems talk about many things. They talk about love, God, and the soul's journey. Rumi started writing the Masnavi later in his life. He wanted to share his spiritual ideas. He used stories and examples in his poems. These stories make us think about life and love. The Masnavi is not just a book of poems. It is a guide for living. It teaches about the path to spiritual growth. It is loved by people who study Sufism. But it is also loved by others. People find wisdom and beauty in its words. The Masnavi is not easy to understand. It has deep ideas. But its stories are interesting. They are about people, animals, and nature. These stories have hidden meanings. They help us understand Rumi's ideas. Another famous work of Rumi is the Divan of Shams of Tabriz. This is a collection of love poems. It is named after Rumi's friend Shams. These poems are very emotional. They talk about Rumi's love for Shams. They also talk about love in general. The Divan shows a different side of Rumi. It shows his deep feelings and thoughts. Rumi's works are not just famous in the past. They are still loved today. They have been translated into many languages. People all over the world read them. Rumi's poems are used in music, art, and movies. They inspire many people. Rumi's major works like the Masnavi are special. They show his wisdom and creativity. They are a big part of his legacy. They continue to teach and inspire us. Rumi's works are a treasure. They remind us of the beauty of poetry and the depth of human thought. Rumi's poems are deep and beautiful. Let's look at some famous ones. One poem talks about a reed flute. This flute is sad because it is away from the reed bed. The poem is about separation. Rumi uses the flute to show how people feel when they are away from their home or loved ones. It's a powerful poem. It makes us think about loss and longing. Another famous poem is about a man who knocks on a door. He is asked, "Who is there?" He answers with his name. But he is not let in. He goes away and comes back. This time he says, "It's you." Then the door opens. This poem is about finding our true self. It says we are all connected. It's a deep idea. Rumi writes a lot about love. One of his love poems says love is a fire. It burns everything except the beloved. This poem talks about the power of love. It says love is strong and can change us. Rumi's poems also talk about nature. He sees nature as a sign of God's beauty. He writes about gardens, stars, and the moon. These poems make us see the beauty around us. They remind us of the miracle of life. Rumi's poems are not just words. They are full of meaning. They make us feel and think. They show us different ways to see the world. His poems are like a journey. They take us to different places in our heart and mind. Rumi's poems are a treasure. They teach us about love, life, and the search for truth. They are a gift that keeps giving. They inspire us to look deeper into ourselves and the world around us. Rumi's poetry is a beautiful part of our world. It reminds us of the power of words and the depth of the human spirit. Rumi's philosophy is deep and meaningful. He had many important ideas. One key idea is about love. Rumi believed love is the most powerful force. He said love can change us. It can help us understand life and ourselves. He thought love was the way to connect with God. Another important idea is about the journey of life. Rumi said life is a journey. It is about growing and learning. He believed we are all searching for truth. He thought this journey was not just outside. It is also inside us. We need to look into our hearts. Rumi also talked about the unity of existence. He believed everything is connected. He said we are all part of one big world. He thought everything in the world reflects God's beauty. This idea makes us see the world as a special place. Rumi also believed in the power of the moment. He said the present is important. We should not just think about the past or the future. We need to live in the now. This idea makes us appreciate our lives more. Rumi's philosophy is not just about ideas. It is also about action. He said we need to live our beliefs. We should be kind, honest, and open. He thought these actions would make the world better. Rumi's teachings are not just for one group of people. They are for everyone. They cross cultural and religious boundaries. People all over the world find wisdom in his words. Rumi's philosophy is a guide for life. It teaches us about love, growth, and the beauty of the world. His ideas help us understand ourselves and each other. They inspire us to live better lives. Rumi's teachings are a treasure. They remind us of the depth and mystery of life. They show us the power of philosophy to change our hearts and minds. Rumi's teachings have a big impact on people. His followers and readers find his ideas very powerful. They say Rumi's words change their lives. His teachings about love and unity make people think differently. They help people see the world in a new way. Many people feel a deep connection to Rumi's words. They find comfort and inspiration in his poems. Rumi's philosophy helps people in tough times. It gives them hope and strength. People say reading Rumi's work makes them feel better. It helps them understand their feelings. Rumi's teachings also bring people together. His ideas about unity and love cross cultural borders. People from different countries and religions love his work. Rumi's philosophy creates a bridge between people. It shows us what we share as humans. Rumi's impact is not just personal. It is also in the world of art and culture. His poems inspire music, paintings, and books. Many artists use his words in their work. This shows the power of his teachings. Rumi's philosophy also affects how people think about spirituality. His ideas about the inner journey inspire people to explore their own spirituality. They find his teachings deep and meaningful. This makes them think about their own beliefs. Rumi's impact is not just in the past. It is also today. His teachings are still relevant. They continue to inspire and guide people. Rumi's work is a gift to the world. It teaches us about the beauty and mystery of life. His philosophy and teachings are a treasure. They remind us of the power of words and the depth of the human spirit. Rumi's work has influenced many poets and writers. His ideas and style have touched people's hearts. Many later poets look up to Rumi. They find inspiration in his work. Rumi's way of writing about love and life is special. It makes people feel deep emotions. His use of simple words with deep meanings is powerful. This style has inspired poets around the world. Writers also find Rumi's themes interesting. His ideas about the journey of life and the soul are deep. Many writers use these themes in their books. They explore similar ideas in their own ways. Rumi's influence is not just in poetry. It is also in stories, music, and movies. His work has reached many areas of art and culture. Rumi's impact is also on modern poetry and writing. His work is still loved today. Modern poets and writers read Rumi's work. They find new ways to use his ideas. This shows the lasting power of his work. Rumi's influence crosses cultural boundaries. His work is loved in many countries. It is translated into many languages. This shows how universal his ideas are. People from different backgrounds find meaning in his work. Rumi's legacy in literature is big. He has inspired generations of poets and writers. His work continues to touch new readers and artists. Rumi's legacy shows the power of poetry. It shows how words can connect people across time and place. His influence on literature is a story of inspiration and creativity. It is a story that continues to grow and inspire. Rumi holds a special place in world literature. He is not just a poet from the past. He is a poet for all times. Rumi's work is known around the world. People from different countries and cultures love his poems. His work is translated into many languages. This shows how popular he is. Rumi's poems are not just for one group of people. They speak to everyone. His themes of love, life, and spirituality are universal. They touch people's hearts no matter where they are from. Rumi's style is also special. He uses simple words to talk about deep ideas. This makes his work easy to read but also deep and meaningful. This style has influenced many poets and writers. Rumi's place in world literature is important. He is one of the most famous poets. His work is studied in schools and universities. Scholars write books and articles about his poems. This shows how important his work is. Rumi's poems are also used in other art forms. They inspire music, paintings, and movies. This shows how his work connects with people in different ways. Rumi's work is not just about the past. It is also about today. His ideas are still relevant. They help us understand our lives and the world. Rumi's poems give us hope and inspiration. They remind us of the beauty and mystery of life. Rumi's place in world literature is a story of lasting impact. His work continues to inspire and teach us. It is a treasure that we keep discovering. Rumi's legacy in literature shows the power of words to cross time and place. It shows how poetry can touch our hearts and minds. Rumi had a strong connection to Sufism. Sufism is a spiritual way in Islam. It focuses on love and the search for truth. Rumi's work is full of Sufi ideas. He talks about the soul's journey to God. He also talks about love as a path to spirituality. Rumi's connection to Sufism started with his family. His father was a Sufi teacher. He taught Rumi about Sufi practices and ideas. Rumi learned a lot from his father. He also met other Sufi teachers. They helped him on his spiritual journey. Rumi's meeting with Shams Tabrizi was important. Shams was a Sufi mystic. He had a big influence on Rumi. He taught Rumi deeper Sufi ideas. This changed Rumi's way of thinking and writing. Rumi's work shows his deep Sufi beliefs. He writes about the unity of all things. He says everything is connected to God. He also writes about the inner journey. He says we need to look inside ourselves to find truth. Rumi's work is important in Sufi traditions. His poems are used in Sufi practices. They are read and sung in Sufi gatherings. Rumi's work helps people on their spiritual path. It gives them guidance and inspiration. Rumi's connection to Sufism is also about love. He writes about love as a powerful force. He says love can help us understand God and the world. This idea is central in Sufism. Rumi's work is loved by Sufis around the world. But it is also loved by others. People from different backgrounds find meaning in his work. This shows the universal appeal of his ideas. Rumi's connection to Sufism is a big part of his legacy. His work is a bridge between spirituality and poetry. It shows how deep ideas can be expressed in beautiful words. Rumi's work is a treasure in Sufi traditions. It is also a treasure in world literature. It teaches us about the beauty and power of the spiritual path. Rumi made a big contribution to Sufi thought. His ideas have influenced Sufi traditions deeply. Rumi talked about love as a way to reach God. He said love is the most important thing in life. This idea is central in Sufism. Rumi's poems are full of Sufi wisdom. They talk about the soul's journey. They say this journey is about finding God. Rumi's work also talks about the unity of all things. He says everything in the world is connected. This idea is important in Sufi thought. It helps people see the world as one big family. Rumi's contribution to Sufism is not just in his ideas. It is also in his style. He used poetry to talk about deep spiritual ideas. This made his work interesting and beautiful. His poems are easy to read but full of meaning. This has made his work popular in Sufi traditions. Rumi's work is used in Sufi practices. People read and sing his poems. They use his work for meditation and prayer. Rumi's poems help people on their spiritual path. They give guidance and inspiration. Rumi's contribution to Sufism is also about love and joy. He talks about the joy of being close to God. He says love and joy are signs of a true spiritual life. This idea makes his work uplifting and hopeful. Rumi's contribution to Sufism has made him famous. He is one of the most loved Sufi poets. His work is a big part of Sufi literature. It is also a big part of world literature. People from different cultures and religions love his work. This shows the universal appeal of his ideas. Rumi's contribution to Sufi thought is a story of beauty and wisdom. It shows how deep ideas can be expressed in simple words. His work is a treasure in Sufi traditions. It is also a treasure for anyone seeking spiritual inspiration. Rumi's work teaches us about the power of love and the beauty of the spiritual journey. Rumi's work is popular all over the world. He is not just a Middle Eastern poet. People from different countries love his poems. His work has been translated into many languages. This shows how much people like his work. Rumi's themes are universal. He writes about love, life, and the human spirit. These ideas are important to everyone. This is why people from different cultures can connect with his work. Rumi's style is also a reason for his popularity. He uses simple language. But his ideas are deep. This makes his work easy to understand and enjoy. Rumi's poems are full of emotion and beauty. They touch people's hearts. This is why his work is loved by so many people. Rumi's popularity is not just among readers. Artists and musicians also find inspiration in his work. His poems are used in songs, movies, and art. This shows the wide appeal of his work. Rumi's impact goes beyond literature. He is a cultural icon. His work influences how people think about love and life. He has become a symbol of spiritual wisdom and human connection. Rumi's popularity in the world shows the power of poetry. It shows how words can cross borders and bring people together. His work is a bridge between cultures. It helps people understand each other better. Rumi's global impact is a story of love and unity. It is a story that continues to inspire people around the world. His work teaches us about the beauty of the human heart and the universal search for meaning. Rumi's work has been adapted in many ways around the world. People have used his poems in different forms of art. His work is in music, movies, and books. These adaptations show how much people love his work. Musicians have used Rumi's poems in their songs. They find his words inspiring. The poems add depth and meaning to the music. This makes the songs special. People enjoy listening to these songs. They feel a connection to Rumi's words. In movies, Rumi's poems are used to add emotion. They help tell the story. They make the movies more interesting and beautiful. This shows how powerful his words are. Rumi's work is also in books. Writers use his ideas in their stories. They find his themes like love and the journey of life interesting. These themes make the books more meaningful. People enjoy reading these books. They learn about Rumi's ideas in a new way. Rumi's work has also inspired artists. They use his poems in their paintings and sculptures. The poems add a special touch to the art. They make the art more emotional and deep. People enjoy seeing these artworks. They feel a connection to Rumi's words. Rumi's adaptations are not just in art. They are also in education. Teachers use his work in classes. They teach students about his ideas. This helps students learn about different cultures and ideas. It makes learning more interesting and fun. Rumi's work is also in social media. People share his poems online. They find his words helpful and inspiring. This shows how much people love his work. It also shows how his work connects people. Rumi's adaptations around the world show the power of his work. They show how his words can be used in different ways. They also show how his work brings people together. Rumi's global impact is a story of creativity and connection. It is a story that continues to inspire people in many ways. His work teaches us about the beauty of sharing ideas and the power of art to touch our lives. Rumi's work is still relevant today. People find new meanings in his poems. They use his ideas to understand modern life. This shows how timeless his work is. Today, people interpret Rumi's work in different ways. They see his themes of love and unity as important. These themes help people deal with modern problems. They make people think about how we live and treat each other. Rumi's work is also used in personal growth. People use his ideas to find peace and happiness. They find his work inspiring. It helps them on their own life journey. Rumi's work is also in modern art and culture. Artists and musicians use his poems. They find his words add depth to their work. This shows how Rumi's work can be adapted for today. Rumi's work is also used in discussions about spirituality. People find his ideas about the soul and love meaningful. They use his work to explore their own beliefs. This shows how Rumi's work is still a guide for many people. Rumi's relevance today is also in how people connect with each other. His work brings people from different backgrounds together. It shows the power of words to build bridges. Rumi's work is a tool for understanding and unity. Rumi's contemporary interpretations show how his work is still alive. It is not just history. It is a living part of our world. It continues to inspire and guide us. Rumi's work teaches us about the beauty of life and the power of love. It is a treasure that keeps giving us wisdom and joy. Rumi's message is still important in the modern world. His ideas about love, life, and unity are relevant. They help us understand our world today. Rumi's message of love is powerful. He says love is the most important thing. This idea helps people in today's busy world. It reminds us to care for each other. It shows us the value of kindness and compassion. Rumi's message about unity is also important. He says we are all connected. This idea is helpful in a world with many differences. It reminds us to respect and understand each other. It helps us work together for a better world. Rumi's message about the journey of life is also relevant. He says life is a path of learning and growth. This idea helps people who are looking for meaning in their lives. It gives them hope and direction. Rumi's message is also about finding peace inside ourselves. He says we can find happiness in our own hearts. This idea is useful for people dealing with stress and problems. It helps them find calm and strength. Rumi's message in the modern world is a guide for living. It teaches us about the power of love and the beauty of life. It helps us understand ourselves and the world around us. Rumi's message is a treasure that continues to inspire and guide us. It shows us how ancient wisdom can help us in today's world. His message is a light that shines in our lives, bringing hope and joy. Rumi's work has had a big impact on music and art. Artists and musicians find inspiration in his poems. They use his ideas in their work. This shows how powerful Rumi's work is. In music, Rumi's poems are used in many ways. Some musicians set his poems to music. They find his words add depth to their songs. These songs are popular. People enjoy the combination of Rumi's words and music. In classical music, composers have been inspired by Rumi. They use his themes of love and the soul in their compositions. This makes the music rich and emotional. In art, Rumi's poems are used in paintings and sculptures. Artists find his themes inspiring. They use his ideas to create beautiful and meaningful art. This art is popular in galleries and shows. Rumi's work is also in dance. Choreographers use his themes in their dances. They find his ideas about the journey of life and love inspiring. These dances are powerful and emotional. They are enjoyed by audiences. Rumi's impact on art forms is not just about beauty. It is also about meaning. Artists and musicians find his work deep and meaningful. They use his work to explore big ideas. This shows the depth of Rumi's work. Rumi's influence on music and art is a story of creativity and inspiration. It shows how his work continues to inspire artists and musicians. It shows the power of poetry to touch different areas of art and culture. Rumi's work is a treasure that keeps giving us beauty and wisdom. Rumi has inspired many musicians and artists. His poems have become part of music and visual arts. This shows how his work touches people's hearts. In music, Rumi's poems are used in different styles. Some musicians make songs with his words. These songs are emotional and deep. They are loved by people who enjoy meaningful music. In classical music, Rumi's themes are used by composers. They find his ideas about love and the soul inspiring. This makes the music powerful and touching. In world music, Rumi's influence is also strong. Musicians from different countries use his work. They mix his poems with their own styles. This creates unique and beautiful music. In visual arts, Rumi's work is used in paintings and sculptures. Artists use his themes to create art. They find his ideas about love and the journey of life inspiring. This art is emotional and meaningful. It is enjoyed by people who love art with depth. Rumi's work is also used in public art. Murals and installations are made with his poems. These artworks are in cities around the world. They bring Rumi's words to public spaces. This shows how his work connects with people in everyday life. Rumi-inspired music and visual arts are a tribute to his work. They show how his poems continue to inspire creativity. They show the power of his work to connect with people in different ways. Rumi's influence in music and art is a story of beauty and inspiration. It shows how poetry can touch our lives in many forms. It is a testament to the lasting power of Rumi's work. His influence in music and art continues to bring joy and meaning to people around the world. Translating Rumi's work is hard. His poems are in Persian. They are full of deep ideas and emotions. Translators face many challenges. They have to keep the beauty and meaning of his words. This is not easy. Rumi's poems use special images and styles. These are hard to translate into other languages. The translators have to find the right words. They have to make the translations feel like the original poems. This takes a lot of skill. There are many translations of Rumi's work. They are different from each other. This is because each translator sees his work in their own way. They use their own style and ideas. This makes each translation unique. Some translations are close to the original. They try to keep the exact words and style. These translations are good for people who want to study Rumi's work deeply. Other translations are more free. They focus on the meaning and feeling of the poems. These translations are good for people who want to enjoy Rumi's ideas. Translations also depend on the translator's background. Translators from different countries see Rumi's work in different ways. They use their own culture and language to translate his poems. This makes the translations varied and interesting. Translating Rumi's work is also about choices. The translators have to decide what to keep and what to change. They have to find a balance between being true to the original and making the poems readable in another language. This is a hard task. Rumi's work is translated into many languages. This shows how popular and important his work is. It also shows the challenges and variations in translations. Each translation brings a new way to understand his work. Translations of Rumi's work are a story of challenge and creativity. They show the effort to share his beautiful words with the world. They also show how his work can be enjoyed in many ways and languages. Translations are a bridge between Rumi's world and ours. They bring his wisdom and beauty to new audiences. They keep his work alive and relevant in the modern world. Many translators have worked on Rumi's poems. Each has their own style. This makes the translations different and interesting. One famous translator is Coleman Barks. He is from the USA. Barks' translations are popular. He makes Rumi's poems easy to understand. He focuses on the spirit and meaning of the poems. Barks' translations are not always close to the original, but they capture the essence of Rumi's work. This makes them loved by many people. Another translator is A.J. Arbery. He was from the UK. Arbery's translations are more traditional. He stays close to the original Persian texts. His translations are good for people who study Rumi's work deeply. They show the beauty and complexity of Rumi's language. Reynold A. Nicholson was another important translator. He was also from the UK. Nicholson's translations are scholarly. He focused on the historical and cultural context of Rumi's work. His translations are detailed and accurate. They are important for understanding Rumi's world. Each translator has their own approach. Some focus on the poetic and emotional aspects. Others focus on the historical and cultural context. This makes the translations varied. It gives different views of Rumi's work. Translators play a big role in sharing Rumi's work. They bring his poems to new audiences. They make his work accessible to people who don't speak Persian. This is an important job. It helps keep Rumi's work alive and relevant. Famous translators of Rumi's work are important. They help us understand and enjoy his poems. They show the power of translation to connect cultures and times. Their work is a bridge between Rumi's world and ours. It brings the beauty and wisdom of his work to people everywhere. Rumi's work is in many parts of popular culture. His poems are in movies, music, and books. This shows how much people love his work. In movies, Rumi's poems add depth and emotion. They are used in scenes to make them more powerful. They help tell the story in a beautiful way. People enjoy these movie scenes. They feel a connection to Rumi's words. In music, Rumi's poems are used in songs. Musicians find his themes of love and life inspiring. These songs are emotional and deep. They are popular with people who enjoy meaningful music. In books, writers use Rumi's ideas. They find his themes interesting. They use his ideas to add depth to their stories. These books are enjoyable. They make people think about big ideas like love and the journey of life. Rumi's work is also in quotes. People share his words on social media. They find his quotes inspiring. They use his words to express their feelings and thoughts. This shows how Rumi's work connects with people in everyday life. Rumi in popular culture is a sign of his lasting impact. It shows how his work continues to inspire and move people. It shows the power of his words to touch different areas of life. Rumi's presence in popular culture is a story of love and inspiration. It shows how poetry can be a part of our daily lives. It brings joy and meaning to people around the world. Rumi is represented in modern ways today. His work is not just in old books. It is in our daily life. This shows how timeless his work is. Rumi's poems are used in modern art. Artists create works inspired by his words. These artworks are beautiful and deep. They make people think about love and life. This shows the power of Rumi's work in the art world. Rumi's work is also in digital media. His poems are shared on websites and social media. People from all over the world read his words online. They find his work inspiring. This shows how Rumi's work connects people in the digital age. In education, Rumi's work is used in schools and universities. Teachers use his poems to teach about literature and culture. Students enjoy learning about his work. They find his themes of love and the soul interesting. This shows how Rumi's work is still relevant in education. Rumi's work is also used in mindfulness and wellness. His poems are used in meditation and therapy. People find his words calming and helpful. They use his work to find peace and happiness. This shows how Rumi's work is helpful in our modern lives. Modern representations of Rumi show how his work is still alive. It is not just history. It is a part of our world today. His work continues to inspire and guide us. Rumi's work in modern culture is a story of lasting beauty and wisdom. It shows how ancient poetry can be a part of our modern life. It brings joy and meaning to people around the world. Scholars have studied Rumi's work deeply. They have different views about his poems. This shows how rich and complex his work is. Some scholars focus on Rumi's language and style. They study how he uses words and images. They find his style unique and powerful. They say his way of writing makes his work special. Other scholars look at Rumi's themes. They study his ideas about love, life, and the soul. They find his themes deep and meaningful. They say his work is not just poetry. It is also philosophy. Scholars also study Rumi's cultural and historical background. They look at how his time and place influenced his work. They find that his work reflects the world he lived in. This helps us understand his poems better. Some scholars have different views about Rumi's work. They debate about the meanings of his poems. They have different interpretations. This shows how Rumi's work makes people think. It is not just simple poetry. It is deep and thought-provoking. Scholarly perspectives on Rumi's work show its importance. They show how his work is studied and respected. They show the depth and richness of his poetry. Rumi's work is not just loved by readers. It is also studied by scholars. This shows the lasting impact of his work. It shows how his poetry continues to inspire and challenge us. Scholarly perspectives on Rumi's work are a part of his legacy. They help us understand his poetry in a deeper way. They add to the beauty and wisdom of his work. Over time, Rumi's work has been interpreted in many ways. This shows how his work speaks to different people. In the past, Rumi's work was seen as spiritual poetry. It was about the soul's journey to God. People read his work for spiritual guidance. They found his themes of love and unity inspiring. In modern times, people see Rumi's work differently. They focus on his ideas about love and life. They use his work to understand their own emotions and experiences. This shows how Rumi's work is relevant today. Some people see Rumi's work as a bridge between cultures. They say his work brings people from different backgrounds together. They use his poems to promote peace and understanding. This shows how Rumi's work can be a tool for unity. Other people see Rumi's work as art. They find beauty in his language and style. They enjoy his work for its poetic and artistic qualities. This shows how Rumi's work is enjoyed for its beauty. Rumi's work has also been used in different art forms. It has inspired music, paintings, and movies. This shows how his work can be adapted for different audiences. It shows the power of his poetry to inspire creativity. Diverse interpretations of Rumi's work show its depth and richness. They show how his work speaks to people in different ways. They show how his poetry continues to be relevant and inspiring. Rumi's work is not just for one time or place. It is for all times and places. It continues to touch hearts and minds around the world. Diverse interpretations of Rumi's work are a part of his legacy. They show the lasting impact of his poetry. They show how his work continues to inspire and challenge us. Rumi's work is a treasure that keeps giving us beauty and wisdom. Rumi was influenced by many philosophers and thinkers. These influences shaped his work. One major influence was the Quran. Rumi's work is full of Quranic themes. He talks about love, life, and the soul. These ideas come from the Quran. The Quran's spiritual teachings had a big impact on Rumi. Another influence was Islamic scholars. Rumi learned from many scholars. They taught him about religion and philosophy. These teachings are in his work. He talks about Islamic ideas in his poems. This shows the impact of Islamic scholarship on his work. Rumi was also influenced by Sufi mystics. Sufis focus on love and the inner journey. Rumi's work is full of Sufi ideas. He talks about the soul's journey to God. He says love is the key to this journey. This shows the influence of Sufism on his work. Rumi was also influenced by Persian poets. He grew up reading Persian poetry. This poetry is about love and nature. Rumi's work has similar themes. He talks about the beauty of the world and the power of love. This shows the impact of Persian poetry on his work. Rumi's work is a mix of these influences. He combines religious, philosophical, and poetic ideas. This makes his work rich and deep. It shows how he used different ideas to create his own style. Rumi's philosophical influences are a big part of his work. They show how he learned from others. They also show how he created his own ideas. His work is a blend of different thoughts and teachings. It is a treasure of wisdom and beauty. Rumi's philosophical influences are important. They help us understand his work. They show the depth and complexity of his poetry. They also show how he connects different ideas to create something new. Rumi's work is not just poetry. It is a journey of thought and spirituality. It continues to inspire and guide us. Rumi's philosophical influences show the power of learning and creativity. They show how his work is a part of a bigger world of ideas. Comparing Rumi with contemporary philosophers is interesting. They lived in different times, but their ideas can be similar. One common theme is the idea of love. Like Rumi, many modern philosophers talk about love. They say love is important for a good life. Rumi's idea of love as a spiritual journey is similar. He also says love is key to understanding life. Another theme is the search for meaning. Rumi talks about life as a journey. He says this journey is about finding truth. Many contemporary philosophers also talk about the search for meaning. They say understanding life is important. This is similar to Rumi's ideas. Rumi's work also has ideas about the inner self. He talks about looking inside ourselves. He says we can find peace and truth within. Many modern philosophers talk about self-awareness. They say understanding ourselves is key to a good life. This is like Rumi's idea of the inner journey. Rumi's work is also about unity and connection. He says we are all connected. He talks about breaking down barriers between people. Many contemporary philosophers talk about community and relationships. They say being connected to others is important. This is like Rumi's idea of unity. Comparing Rumi with contemporary philosophers shows the lasting impact of his work. His ideas are still relevant today. They connect with modern thoughts about love, life, and the self. Rumi's work is not just old poetry. It is a part of modern philosophy. It continues to inspire and guide us. Rumi's comparative analysis with contemporary philosophers shows the power of his work. It shows how his ideas are timeless. They continue to speak to people in different times and places. Rumi's work is a bridge between the past and the present. It brings wisdom and beauty to our modern world. People who read Rumi's work often have personal reflections. They share stories about how his work has touched their lives. One reader talks about finding comfort in Rumi's poems. They were going through a hard time. Rumi's words about love and hope helped them. They found strength in his poems. This shows how Rumi's work can support people in tough times. Another reader shares how Rumi's work helped them understand love. They read his poems during a time of heartbreak. The poems helped them see the beauty and power of love. They learned that love is more than just a feeling. It is a journey. This shows how Rumi's work can teach us about love. A student talks about how Rumi's work inspired them. They were studying philosophy. Rumi's poems made them think about life and the soul. They found his work deep and meaningful. It helped them in their studies. This shows how Rumi's work can inspire learning and growth. A reader shares how Rumi's work helped them connect with others. They used his poems to talk about love and unity. This helped them make new friends. They found that Rumi's work brings people together. This shows how Rumi's work can build connections. Personal reflections on Rumi's teachings show how his work touches people. His poems are not just words. They are messages of love and wisdom. They help, inspire, and connect people. Rumi's work is a treasure that continues to bring joy and meaning to our lives. Reflections from readers show the lasting impact of Rumi's work. They show how his teachings continue to guide and support us. Rumi's work is a light in our lives. It brings hope, understanding, and connection. Rumi's teachings continue to inspire people in many ways. His work is not just from the past, it is alive in our present. One way Rumi's teachings inspire is through social media. People share his quotes and poems online. They find his words meaningful and relatable. This spreads his wisdom to a global audience. Rumi's teachings also inspire artists. Musicians, painters, and dancers use his work for inspiration. They create beautiful pieces of art that connect with Rumi's themes of love and unity. This shows how Rumi's teachings inspire creativity. Rumi's teachings are also used in therapy and self-help. Psychologists and counselors use his ideas to help people find inner peace and healing. Rumi's emphasis on the inner journey resonates with those seeking self-improvement. This shows how Rumi's teachings inspire personal growth. Rumi's work also continues to inspire scholars and academics. They study his poems and philosophy deeply. They explore his ideas about love, life, and the soul. This shows how Rumi's teachings inspire intellectual inquiry. Rumi's teachings have found their way into contemporary literature. Writers incorporate his ideas into their novels and essays. They use his themes of love and spiritual awakening to add depth to their work. This shows how Rumi's teachings inspire literary creativity. Rumi's teachings inspire people from all walks of life. They transcend time and culture, speaking to the human spirit. His wisdom and insights into the human experience continue to guide us in our modern world. Rumi's teachings are a source of inspiration, comfort, and enlightenment. They remind us of the enduring power of love, unity, and the inner journey. Rumi's legacy lives on, inspiring generations to come.